Welcome back to the Traducer Bros, you guys. Back at it again with another book review. Today, we are reviewing Gangster by Lorenzo Carcaterra. I'm probably saying that wrong. Shoot me. So Gangster was published in 2001. It is a sprawling epic. It's very interesting how this book starts. Maybe I should just go ahead and tell you. 5 stars right off the gate. 4.8 maybe because nothing is perfect, but it is as close to perfect as it can get. If you're looking for this type of novel, I definitely recommend it. So those of us that grew up, like I did, watching a lot of gangster movies, The Godfather, Goodfellas, Donnie Brasco, Once Upon a Time in America, all of those kind of gangster movies, if you grew up watching those, or have been getting into those recently, or just interested in this type of thing as it is, this book is going to work for you. If that isn't the kind of thing that you're interested in, maybe steer clear of it. There's violence, there's crime, there's betrayal, and all that is fun for a type of person. But if that isn't your thing, maybe don't read it. But I loved this book. Again, 4.8 out of 5. It's fantastic. The preface of it, it starts off, it's just a page, and it's a quote from Benjamin Franklin. And it says, 3 may keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. And that kind of sets the tone for what this book is, right? It's a sprawling crime epic. It's a long story. The earliest part of the story takes place in 1906, and it finishes in 1996. So you got a whole 90 years of this couple of generations kind of dealing with this crime and this stuff. There's an interesting framing, narrative framing that goes on here, and basically it's kind of I say kind of because again it's 90 years and it kind of jumps from one character whom we're following and learning about, and then it jumps to the person who is actually telling the story, and it's them coming of age, and then they you kind of understand where their story's going, and that's really cool. But the framing narrative of this is this woman Mary and our kind of protagonist Gabe are sitting in a hospital room with the main character, the gangster of this, or one of the gangsters, I guess, Angelo. He's on his deathbed, he's 90 years old, and Mary and Gabe are sitting and kind of telling stories about Angelo to each other. They're learning about one another and Angelo himself. So Gabe might tell Mary a story about something that happened in the past. Vice versa. The thing would just flip around, and then it would be Mary sort of explaining some things, and you kind of learn about Angelo through each of them telling the story. So I thought that was really, really interesting. I really like that. For someone who isn't used to that kind of storytelling, they might find that jump between what's going on in the present to what's going on in the past to be a little jarring. But for me, I felt it was done the right way. It was done enough times, and you're not really confused when it happens. So I really like that. So it's got a coming of age story twice. You see, Angelo growing up in poverty and learning to become the so-called gangster, and then when it takes over and Gabe is telling his story, it kind of does the same thing. I was this orphan street kid, and he meets Angelo and his best friend Pudge. Pudge is my favorite character in this. He might even be my favorite character in all of gangster movies and books and shows. Pudge is great. I want to see more characters like Pudge. But yeah, so it has this coming of age story twice. You get to see how each of them mature, Gabe and Angelo, and how they're very similar and whatever. And it really does give you the idea of how different these characters are, even though they are very similar. You kind of see how the trials and tribulations that Angelo goes through, he sort of teaches lessons to Gabe, and Gabe grows up with these lessons, and he turns into his own man, his own person. There's some unexpected twists and turns, and that's kind of one of the big things about this book is there's kind of a shocking revelation towards the end of the book, and it really ties everything up in a nice bow. I don't want to go too into spoilers on that one, but it was shocking, and I'm the type of reader, type of story person where I kind of cheat myself out of stuff sometimes where I want to find out what the ending is. Like for myself, I'll start thinking, wow, how is this going to end? Instead of just enjoying it. And the thing that happens, or the thing you find out, and you go, oh man, I didn't see that coming. And that was just me. I think some people are going to be like, how the fuck did you not know that? But it's great. So I really like that. The other thing that I really enjoyed about this, and this is something that you guys have seen, the Chorizo Brush show. So you've seen kind of me with Jeremy, you've seen me with Art, you've seen kind of the stand-ins here. I am extremely lucky to have the type of friends that I do. Your fucking ride or dies. Art and Jeremy are for sure my ride or dies, right? If you guys are watching, love y'all. This book really illustrates the best friend. The best friend. Not a lot of books can do that. Not a lot of stories can do that. But there's something about this one where I was like, man, these guys have one another's back. They really just do. And it's kind of cool. I'll sort of start at the beginning and kind of tell you how their friendship starts, and then, you just have to read the book. But it starts off with Pudge and Angelo as kids not liking each other and kind of being at odds. And there's some interesting, lady characters. Ida's in there. But basically, one of the lady gangsters of the neighborhood is like, you're not going to fucking fight, because Pudge is he's a tough kid, beats the shit out of Angelo. And she's like, you're not going to do that. You're not, that shit is not going to work here. She kind of tasks him with, well, since you did that, I don't want you to be in trouble. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to Pudge, you're going to follow Angelo around, and you're going to defend him, and you're going to make sure that he's safe from the rest of the neighborhood kids. And so through them sort of, him being like, man, I don't want to do this punk-ass Italian kid, whatever, through going through the neighborhood together and sort of experiencing all these different things, they develop a really, really strong bond, and I found that to be very cool. I really, really like that. And then they stay friends for many, many years. This book is great. I almost want to start it over again. And there's no almost. I'm not going to, but my instinct is, as soon as I finish this, was to start again, knowing, some of the twists and turns that were going to happen, and going like, man, maybe I can see what was going on there and put the story together in a different way, appreciate it differently. I mean, it's one of those things where a lot of great stories that have a really awesome twist, Fight Club, things like that, when they have a really good twist, and then you watch it a second time, you're like, holy shit, man, that made so much sense. So I'm definitely going to revisit this book. I'm interested in seeing this writer, Lorenzo Carcaterra. Remember, I'm going to fucking say his name wrong. I'm gonna look at more of his work, and that's awesome. That's really, a good sign from an author is you want to kind of experience more of their stuff. So I'm definitely going to do that. I don't know if I would want to see this made into a TV show or a movie. I think it would be really cool as like a mini-series. I think the flashbacks and the jumping back and forth and the period pieces, this would be really fun to see on screen. The early turn of the century America, and then the 1980s with Gabe, and that stuff is really fun. I kind of wanted to see a little bit more of that, honestly. It was cool. So yeah, this really worked. I would really want to see. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it because I kind of like where my imagination took it, but it would be cool to get a cool actor in here, see the story play out on the screen, see a really talented person come in and direct it. The music would be really fun. I can just imagine the possibilities are crazy with where this could go. But that's pretty much it, guys. I wasn't going to sit here too long and harp on. I may have done that. I'm going to probably get out of here in just a second. I have the dogs in here. They're going to get restless here. But it's great, guys. Thumbs up. I'll give me some comments on what I maybe should read next. What I'm probably going to do, because this, like I did with Silence of the Lambs and Red Dragon and all that, it kind of reinvigorated my interest in it. So I'm probably going to start reading some gangster novels that are coming up. So you might get some reviews on some Mario Puzo or Nicholas Pileggi or something like that. And I couldn't be more excited to kind of get going with that. I think I'm going to convince the guys. They might not be down for it, but I think I'm going to convince them that at some point we got to do the Godfather. So, on that note, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks so much for joining us. Come back and see us again soon.